Hello, welcome in or welcome new. I'm Tony with Little Wins, and I have Parkinson's disease, and I'm on a mission to accomplish my goal of having a urban homestead with my Parkinson's disease. So today we're going to talk about planting tomatoes, and I know there's lots of videos about planting tomatoes. But one thing I've heard from people is they can't afford to garden. And I'm going to show you how you can afford to garden. So you don't have to prepare tons of soil, a garden patch, all the expensive things that are shown to you to get your garden going. You can do it in simple ways. I'm working here with a clay soil, and I'm going to plant tomatoes that aren't going to like it in here, and they're going to grow beautifully. And I'm going to show you how to do this method, and you can do this, most of this method you can do with tomatoes, peppers, just all different kind of plants and crops. So you can find a hole, dig a hole, and start your gardening journey right away. There is groceries are expensive these days, so if you can grow something that you need to eat, this is the place to start. Even if you're growing a little bit of food, that satisfaction is fantastic, and what you spend on tomatoes or peppers, you can put that money towards something else. I have 3 beautiful tomato plants. They were given to me by a friend of ours who owns a restaurant here in the Cincinnati area in Covington called The Governor. Chef's Kiss. If you like yummy food, go eat there. I am excited about these. These are his own developed. He crossbred these tomatoes to be sweet and low acid. So I am excited about those. He gave us 3 of those plants. Now, we've only been in this house. The kids bought it 3 years ago. So there is a lot of stuff that needed done inside before we started on the yard outside. So we're still working on the transitioning into some urban sustainability. So I'm going to show you a very simple method, and I want you to think about this. If you have children who are picky eaters, it is proven that if they grow it, they will eat it. They will at least taste it. You can start with something your children likes, maybe a pumpkin or a watermelon or some cantaloupe, and they are going to be so proud that they grew that and ate it. And they will eat other things because they grew it. They will try it and taste it. So it's also very beneficial to your kids. So we're going to start here with this hole, and here I have a lot of grass from getting weed eated earlier, so I'm going to just take that grass and put it down in the bottom of this hole. Okay, and for tomatoes only, I use this method. This is the sardine method. Okay, so as you know, fertilizers and organic fertilizers and stuff, they're very expensive. This is 98 cents at Walmart, or was. Prices are changing. You get the sardines in water, and then you use the little sardine and you put it, here we go, sardine, but I want the whole sardine, so that's just half of him. My hands are giving me a little bit of a problem. I'll put the half of 2 of them, then you don't have to wait for my hands to work. So you just put the sardine into the hole. Now this will do the same thing as fish emulsion, and it will break down. And I will just set that aside and cover it up in a moment because I have other tomato plants to do. I'm just doing the one with you. Then I have some potting mix left from seeding are starting our seeds. So I'm just going to put that potting mix in that hole and cover those sardines a little bit. Just give them a little cover because I don't want roots of the tomato immediately setting on the sardine. I want the sardine to break down and feed the tomato slowly. And the next thing I'm going to do is take these cups that I used to propagate seeds. Now in this step you can use shredded paper. I don't use paper with colored inks, but you could use shredded papers. I use a lot of banana paper. Now in the grocery stores, the banana boxes have a brown thin layer of paper, which I'm going to show later on in a video, that I use in the garden for my garden paths to keep my weeds down. So you're going to use some of this paper, rip it up in there, and that's going to help the soil to drain. Going to just throw that all in there. There's an airplane flying over and lots of birds singing. So we're going to put that all in there. There we go. Then we're going to take some of this clay soil and we're just going to put some back in there. We'll just add some back in, and look, we got a bonus. We got a bonus worm in there. That's awesome. Worms are really good for the soil. So we're going to put that in there. And then I brought over some leaves. I brought over leaves, so I'm going to take these leaves and I'm going to squish them into this hole. There we go. And they're going to help keep the clay from holding water on the plant's feet. And then I'm going to put a little bit more soil. A little bit more soil. You don't have to put too much. Those leaves are going to turn to soil in short order, especially we have a worm in there that's going to totally enjoy that. So you do that, and then you take your tomato plant gently from its cup and drop it like I did. And then you just set him down in there. And I want to set him down in, you know, so I can cover him up here and give him a longer. This will all make extra root for him to grow. But before I set him down, I have this stick, okay? It's not a fancy tomato cage that costs anywhere between $6 and $10. It's a stick. It's just a stick. I'm going to put it in there, and I'll put some of that clay by it. There we go. And we'll put some here and around on the outside. We've got the dirt from that pretty plant there, and we're going to break up some more of the clay soil. Break up some more of that clay soil in there. And then we're going to come back with some more of this cups. Or that will be paper if you have paper. I'm just using up the cups. So we're going to come back with that. Put that on there. And we're just layering soil in here, and we're just making a hole in the ground that's going to make some nice soil for this plant, for this tomato or whatever plant you want to grow in it. I just thought I'd look and see if I found any more worms in this dug out section, and I don't, but that's okay. So you're going to put these in here, and you can put a little bit more of the clay. Ah, there's a little worm here. There's a little guy. We'll put him back in there. He was really tiny, but we gave him lots to eat down here. So you're just going to keep doing this. Putting that in here. And I'm going to gather up more of the grass. More of the grass that was weed-eated and left alone. More grass. tuck that in there. It's going to break down. A little bit more clay. And the grass and the leaves, they'll also feed your tomato plant organically. They'll feed your tomato plant organically, so that's really nice. And then we're going to put a little bit more of the potty mix. We don't need much. We've got lots of organic material that will break down and make potty mix for us. So we're just going to put a little bit in there, and here's some more clay mixed with that. So we're breaking down the clay, and we're putting materials in between the clay that will help to change the quality of the soil pretty quickly. Those have some green, looks like maybe some type of spores. A little bitty tiny worm. So we've got 3 worms just in this one hole that are going to be enjoying all the food we fed them in here. And let's put on some more leaves on top. This stuff will break down pretty rapidly. And I'm going to get behind me and reach as far as I can. More grass. The grass, it's green manure. Green manure, it makes your garden grow. It's like having free manure in your garden, only this is green manure. I put grass clippings all year in the garden. They're free. I found another worm. I just got him in there. So we're doing good with worms. And then you're just going to give yourself one more coat with the soil, and as it rains, it will, or when I water it in, it will float on down in the hole, start filling in the cracks and crevices, and it will separate that clay and not let that clay be so big. So we started out with quite a big hole, but we made it to where we completely changed the garden soil for this plant to grow in. And the last thing I do with the plants is I'm going to tie that to the stick, and I'm going to make it loose. I will come by later and hit it with a rock or something to hold it, push it down in the ground further, but I'll just tie a little piece here so the bottom stem doesn't get damaged. And then my final task, the final thing you do when you plant your tomatoes is you put some, I'm going to hope that y'all can see this. It's not sponsored, I'm just telling you. Nothing I'm showing you is sponsored. I'm just showing you what I use. So I use the food grade diatomaceous earth. And then you just put you some of that. After you water it in, I'm just putting it now to show you. You put some around the bottom of your tomato plant. And I put a generous portion like this around. And this prevents cutworms, the hairy little caterpillars that like to climb up and eat your tomato vines and your tomatoes. So this is a very inexpensive way. You can get plants. If you have an Ace Hardware close to you, Ace Hardware has by far had the lowest price on plants that I have seen. And you might check them out for plants. But just, you know, use your yard scraps, leaves, your lawn clippings, whatever you have, and fill your hole, torn up paper, and then you have basically an in-ground flower pot container plant for your tomatoes. And next year in this area, And each area that I plant this, I will have changed the soil of my garden. And as I mix it in and continue this, after a year or two, my garden will have great soil without having spent a fortune. Please give my channel a like, a thumbs up, if you would, and if you would like to subscribe and follow me on my journey through Parkinson's and getting a homestead, doing an urban homestead of my dream. Even though I have Parkinson's, and when I was diagnosed last year, I thought I could never, ever do it. So it's exciting to me, and I love to share it with everybody. Thanks for taking the time to be with me today. Have a wonderful day, and I hope you're encouraged to plant at least one vegetable this year.